Today we are going to talk about modifier questions on the SAT. Modifier questions look like this example here. If you notice, the four choices all have the same exact wording, but the words are in a different order. They all say two problems, they all say associated, they all say commercial plastics. Generally speaking, students have a hard time identifying what the SAT is testing for in this type of question. If you come across a type of question like this and you can't quite tell what the SAT is testing for, it might be a modifier question. Almost always, in these cases, the SAT is asking you which word goes first. Now, where does this actually occur on the reading section of the SAT? Well, here's a reminder of the 5 categories of questions and the order that the questions come in on every reading section. First, the reading section starts with vocabulary questions. You'll have about 4 to 7. Then you'll get to reading comprehension questions, having about 10 to 12 of those. Next comes grammar questions, followed by transition questions, and finally rhetorical synthesis questions. Grammar questions are the category that contain these modifier questions, and you can expect about 1 per module. Typically, this is in questions 15 through 22 on each module. So let's talk about the word modifier. What is a modifier in English? Modifiers are words, phrases, or clauses that describe other words in a sentence. The most common examples that we use every day would be adjectives and adverbs. Like if I told you I have a dog, it changes the meaning if I told you I have a brown dog, right? I modified the meaning of the word dog. Or if I said the athlete ran, it's different from saying the athlete ran quickly. Quickly is describing the word ran, it's modifying it. So a modifier just adds an extra definition to a word. There's longer words, though, phrases that can actually change the meaning of words in a sentence. This is how it appears on the SAT. Walking home from school one day, I found $20. Walking home from school today, from one day is describing I. I was the one walking home from school today. Suspended from the ceiling, the piñata swayed with every hit. The piñata is being described by suspended from the ceiling. It's telling you more about the piñata. Now, in English, the key is modifiers, the describing words, right, must come next to the words that are being described. In my examples here, the dog is brown, therefore brown and dog must be next to each other. Quickly is describing ran, therefore ran and quickly must be next to each other. I was the one walking home from school, therefore those must be next to each other. And the piñata is the object that is suspended from the ceiling, therefore they must be next to each other in the sentence. That is where the mistake comes in on the SAT. So here's the process for actually solving these questions. First, we have to recognize the question. What you notice is all 4 choices have similar wording, but the words are rearranged. Okay, the words are in unique orders to each other. That's the first thing you have to do is recognize. The next step is find the actual modifier, find the describing phrase. Usually it's at the beginning of the sentence, right before the blank. Usually there's also an ing word in there. Next, you ask who or what that modifier is describing. And finally, you choose the right answer, the answer that puts that word first. Let's do some practices. Here's an example. So first, I want you to notice that all 4 choices have the same words, but they're rearranged. Like I said before, they all say two problems, they all say commercial plastics, they all say the word associated. But the words come in a different order. Next, if you read the sentence, you'll notice that it starts with this ing phrase, despite being cheap, versatile, and easy to produce. So remember, what you do is we notice the 4 choices are the same words but rearranged. We notice the sentence started with this modifier, this phrase that's describing someone or something. Ask yourself who or what is being cheap, versatile, and easy to produce. Put that word first. So, who or what is cheap, easy to produce, and versatile? Would it be there are? Would it be 2 problems? Would it be commercial plastics, 2 associated problems? Or would it just be the plastics, commercial plastics? Yes, the answer is commercial plastics because that is what is cheap, versatile, and easy to produce, so it must come first. Here's another example. Right away, we'll notice all four choices have the same wording, but the words are rearranged. We'll also notice that the sentence is starting with this ing phrase. It doesn't have to be an ing phrase, but it typically is. If you read the beginning of the sentence, in assessing the films, it is describing someone or something that is assessing the films. So ask yourself, who is it? Go to the four choices. Is it critics that are assessing the films? Could it be Kurosawa's use that is assessing the films? Is it there are that is assessing the films? And is it the focus that is assessing the films? The only logical choice here is the critics that would be assessing the films. That must go first. Answer choice A is correct. Here's another example. Notice that all four choices have the same wording, but the words are rearranged. They all say Henry, they all say resumed, they all say rain. The answer choices put the words in a different order. Notice that this sentence is down here. It starts upon recovering. Again, there's an ing word. You ask yourself, who or what is recovering? The only thing that's logical here would be Henry being recovering, but going through the four choices, was it Henry that was recovering? Was it the rain that was recovering? Was it Henry's rain that was recovering? Was it that was recovering? It makes sense that it was Henry that was recovering because the first sentence says Henry became ill. So it makes sense that Henry would be recovering, put him first. That would be answer choice A.